Hey folks, I'm Troy and you're watching TroyTube. Today we're going to talk about applying vinyl to the inside of glass. So if you want to put signage on like the inside of a store window or something like that, talk about the things you want to think about when you're doing something like that, so stick around. Alright, so we're going to do this with a picture frame. I picked this up at Hobby Lobby. It has a nice little rope on it. Might shorten the rope a little bit, that thing's awful long. But it has a piece of plexiglass in it. So we're going to put vinyl on the inside of this frame, and it just hangs on the wall, and then you'll be able to see the signage. Actually making this for our old neighbors, Wade and Lisa. We're going over to their house this evening, so a little housewarming gift for them. They purchased a house. Unfortunately, they're not our neighbors anymore. They were some of the best neighbors we've ever had. As a matter of fact, you probably remember them if you've been following me, because 3 days ago made a year that we took supplies over to Pine Island, and they were the ones I was with on the airboat taking supplies over to some friends of theirs. Wow, what a week. I'll probably do another video soon and kind of give you an update on that, since it's been a year. There's been a lot going on down here in Southwest Florida, but we're going over to their house tonight for a cookout, and we're going to make them a little funny sign using this. And but I wanted to talk a little bit about the things that you want to do. Now, the general rule of thumb is that most of your solid color vinyl will be the same color on both sides, so it's okay to do this. So the adhesive side on Orcal 651, 631, most of your permanent removable solid color vinyl will be the same on both sides. There can be some exceptions, maybe some out there that have an opaque white backing if it's a really light color or something like that, but that's usually on specialty films that I've seen. And I have another example of times that you won't be able to do this because when you get outside of those solid color PVC vinyls, you will see that they are not the same on the back side. So this is a piece of glitter vinyl. This is cast vinyl. I think this is some StyleTech Ultra Glitter that I used to sell, and it is glitter blue on the front, but if I peel it and look at the back, you'll see that it's silver. So anytime you get into things like holographic films, metallics, glitter films, any of those outside of your basic solid color films, it's probably not going to be the same on the backside, so you probably won't be able to do that and put it on the reverse side of the glass. Now, another thing you want to consider is if you're putting it on a store window, a retail window, a car, especially a car window. Generally, you can't ever put decals on the inside of a car window because they don't look right. Even a car window that is not tinted, they're usually tinted from the factory, and they have like a greenish hue to them, so they will alter the color of the vinyl. And then of course, back windows anymore, most SUVs and things are tinted really dark, so you won't even be able to really see the vinyl on the inside if you do that anyway. Some cars have, the cars that have the heater in the back windows and things, you don't ever want to put vinyl over those, because if you remove it later on, it can break those lines, and that's what conducts the heat, the power for the heat. So you don't want to put anything on the inside of those anyway. But again, if it's a store window, like a retail window, if it's a new modern window, chances are it's probably going to be clear glass. But you want to take, the best thing to do really is just take a piece of white vinyl, hold it up behind the and against the window, and see if it looks different. There's usually some kind of tint or something, but especially in older windows, they usually have some kind of a blue or greenish hue to them, and it will alter the look of the vinyl and make it look really odd. Now, sometimes it may not matter a whole lot, because if you're lettering, maybe you're using something like orange, and the hue doesn't change it that much versus if it was white or something like that. So you're just going to have to take a look at it and see. And there's not really a case sometimes to have to put it on the inside. It's going to be protected from the elements a little bit, but if you're using good quality vinyl, Orcal 651, it's probably not going to be affected by the elements very much. And some people are like, oh, I don't want people picking at it, and I'm not. Well, unless it's in an area where people are standing and leaning against or touching it, you don't have to worry about that anyway if it's on the outside. But to each his own. Anyway, so you just want to think those things through before you commit to putting it on the inside of the window and cutting it and everything. Do your investigation and look at it before you go through all those steps. And you don't want to get on site, have everything cut and mirrored, and then find out that it's not going to look right on the inside, and then have to redo it all anyway, or you know, it just kind of makes you look bad if you don't do your homework first. And the vinyl will go on the reverse side of the glass, so you want to cut it mirrored, so because you're going to be looking at the adhesive side. So I've already cut the vinyl. You see here that it's, you know, I cut it on the Cricut a little bit earlier, and we're using black and dark red Oracal 651. So I'm going to weed it, and then you know, we're going to, one of the things I like to do when I'm weeding this type of layout, you know, this is multiple lines of text. The letters aren't small, but they're not really big. So I like to take an X-Acto knife and cut little lines in between them and just weed one row at a time, and it makes life a lot easier instead of trying to have to pull off that big sheet and trying to make sure that no letter, you don't lose any dots over the eyes or anything like that. And you know, and then we're going to use our medium tack transfer tape to apply this. All right, one of the things I wanted to mention, again, we have this mirrored, so it's going to be on the inside of the glass, so you're actually going to be looking at the adhesive side. But one of the things I wanted to mention is I'm using Oracal 651, I'm using the glossy vinyl. It doesn't matter, a lot of people will ask, hey, can I use matte vinyl for this? But it's going on the inside of the glass, so it doesn't matter. The glass is going to make it look glossy no matter what, because it's on the inside. So it doesn't matter which one of those you use. Now this is our medium tack transfer tape, and usually the easiest way for me to apply this is to put the transfer tape sticky side up and then just kind of gently lay it down gradually like that, so you don't get air bubbles in between. And you can find this transfer tape on our website. It is not expensive at all. It is much better than using things like shelf liner because it doesn't leave sticky residue on your vinyl. And that residue is very difficult to get off. You really just have to give it a few light swipes like that, and you'll see how easy that the transfer happens in just a minute. Do the same thing with the smaller one. We've got two different colors here so that the letters stand out a little bit in the sign. And again, just a couple light swipes. And you should not have to burnish this hard, and you'll see this comes right off like that. That's how easy this should work. You know, all these different brands of vinyl and things that people say, you gotta flip it over, burnish it hard, stand on your head, peel it off backwards, and all this stuff nonsense. It's because the vinyl and transfer tape is not very good quality. And so here's the plexiglass. We're gonna clean this with some alcohol and get all the fingerprints and oils off of it. I'll flip it over and do the other side. So what I'll do, I'll measure this just to make sure. It's about 11¼ by 8 inches tall, and this piece is 10½. So 8 inches leaves me about 2½ inches to spare, so we'll come down about 1¼ inch from the top. We'll make some lines with a dry erase marker. And so again, we'll just flip that over so that the lines are on the other side. And here's what I'm talking about with the transfer tape. So again, just light burnishes, nothing major required here. You don't have to flip it over and, you know, stand on your head or anything. And to peel that off of there, it should come off that easy. Now the key is getting it started flush and even so that you can squeegee it down without any wrinkles in your transfer tape. I have another video on my channel on applying vinyl without bubbles. And this is where you want to burnish nice and firm. Now this is plexiglass. Obviously if this was a glass, you want to be really careful, because that kind of pressure on glass could cause it to crack if there's any give under it. And then when we remove the transfer tape, we just roll it back like that. And again, we're going to apply the other part, and again, this is how easy your transfer should happen. And we'll position that on there. I'm just going to line it up with my eyes, and maybe use my little grid here on the cutting mat. That's what it's for anyway. Just kind of tack it in place and then use the squeegee to apply that. Again, a little firm burnish to activate the adhesive. We'll flip it over. A little alcohol, remove these dry erase marks. We'll put our sign back together. Just has these little metal tabs that secure it in there. And here is our sign. Kind of hard to see, so I'll put something white behind it so you can read it. Nice little funny sign here for our friends. It says, "Welcome to the Ralph family Ool." Their last name's Ralph. Notice there's no P in it. Let's keep it that way. So I think they'll get a kick out of that. But as you can see, vinyl is applied to the inside, and kind of nice display there, nice and even. And then they'll hang it on a wall or something, and it's kind of cool because you can see there with my lighting, you can see the shadow of the letters hitting on the back of the paper maybe. But so there you have it, applying vinyl to the inside of glass. Hey folks, I just wanted to take a minute to thank everyone for the love, kindness, and support that you've provided to Tammy and I over the past several years. It's been almost 10 years, believe it or not, been 8.5 years since we bought our first Cricut, so we're almost a decade into new careers for both of us. So when you buy great products like Orcal 651, Thermaflex, heat transfer vinyl, DPI sub, premium sublimation ink, blanks, any of those things that you buy from our site help support us and our employees and our employees' families. Don't forget about our subscription and membership, which gives you access to our e-learning courses and also significant discounts on product purchases as well. So if you like our videos and everything we do, click the subscribe button down below if you haven't already. And when you do, click the bell next to it so that you'll get notified when I publish new videos. And then in the video description, there's also links to all of our Facebook groups, our Facebook pages. So joining those groups, liking our pages, leaving us reviews helps us out immensely. And we thoroughly enjoy every minute of this journey along this path with you to bring love, kindness, and hope to the world using your crafting hobby or small business, whether it's been in person, on the phone, or through social media.